Welcome to the Dope Sheet, just one guy's opinion. I'm Wayne Demers, and it'll be my opinion that I share with you about this movie, Copshop. Now, I didn't really expect much from this film. I have to be honest with you. The movie is directed by Joe Carnahan. He in 2010 he did the A Team, and then in 2006 he did Smoking Aces. Not sure if you saw either of those films. The A-Team really wasn't much to write about. Smoking Aces was pretty good, but I felt like the ending kind of left you like a little empty, and that's probably why that movie wasn't nearly as successful. I believe Alicia Keys was in that movie. But anyway, he doesn't have an expansive resume. Stars Gerard Butler as Bob Vidic, and he's a hitman. You may know Gerard Butler from the movie 300. He was in Phantom of the Opera and How to Train Your Dragon. He was the voice, I believe, of the dad in that. And then there was Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen. So you probably know Gerard Butler, and that's who it stars. Co-starring is Frank Grillo. You may be familiar with him if you're a fan of Marvel movies because he was in the Captain America films and he was also in the Avengers Endgame film. He's done other movies and he's got a bunch of movies coming up. Not a bad actor. I enjoy him usually whatever role he plays in a movie that he may be in that I happen to catch him. Toby Huss is one of the is also an assassin. Hasn't done anything, no major films. He does voice acting on things. Most popular thing I think he's done is King of the Hill. And then the police officer in this film, the main police officer in this film, is Alexis Louder, and she plays Valerie Young. And let me tell you, she doesn't have an expansive resume just yet. A lot of bit roles and a lot of different things. But to me, she is the star of this movie. She steals the show away from Gerard Butler. Her acting, her physical presence, she was awesome. I really felt like she should have gotten top billing in this one. But because she's not very well known, Gerard Butler is going to get the call on that one. So the movie, basically, if you haven't seen the trailer, and just forewarning, I may get into a couple spoilers here. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, let me just say this. Go see this movie in the theater. It was worth the price of admission. So if you don't want to know much more than that, you might want to stop this review right here. Okay, so in the trailer, what we find out is there is Teddy Moretto. He's in prison. He's been arrested intentionally to protect himself from people who are chasing him. And so Gerard Butler goes out there and gets arrested, so he's in the same cell, or at least in the same jailhouse as his target. And they're both locked into the cell room within the police station, and they're locked in there with a police officer, and they have a second hit person who's trying to hit his mark. Again, that's played by Frank Grillo, and that character is Teddy. So the question is, what happens? Who dies? That's kind of where you're left with the trailer. What I liked about this movie, it's kind of a cross between Reservoir Dogs and the movie The Rock. Okay? I really enjoyed it. I totally wasn't expecting to like it. And part of it is it has a Quentin Tarantino vibe to it. Not as well written or the characters as well developed as Quentin Tarantino does in his films. So if you're not a fan of Quentin Tarantino films, don't think you're not going to like this one, because the dialogue is where you can tell this is not a Quentin Tarantino film. But it has that vibe to it. So I don't know if the director or writers are influenced by him, but it certainly had that vibe. How so? The score has 60s, 70s themes to it, kind of like jazz themes. And immediately I was thinking of the movie Bullet. The costumes kind of mimic 70s kind of theme, but yet the movie takes place kind of modern day, because we see some Crown Victorias, and so they're a little dated. I usually always look at cars, I look at costumes, I look at locations to kind of figure out what era we're filming in. So it's more modern day, but definitely has a vibe of 60s, 70s style police chase films at times. Okay. Nice character development in this, because you learn to care about a police chief who isn't in the movie very much. The main character, Valerie, who's the police officer, you care about her. You get to see her to kind of be, she's kind of like a rookie cop, kind of cocky, but boy, does she know her stuff. And she can take a punch, and she can hold her own. She's not afraid of anybody that she has to put the cuffs on. She's just not afraid. And I love that about her. She played that perfectly. The thing I liked about Gerard Butler is most of the time I don't care for his movies. I loved him in 300. He's done some, I think, a romantic comedy or two, and he was okay in that. But I just never felt like he just always plays the same kind of guy in all of the, I'll just call him the Fallen films. You know, the Olympus, London, Angel Has Fallen. It's all the same type of characters, type stuff. In this one, he's a little bit more reserved. As a hitman, I thought he was very calm, cool, didn't overstate his presence. And when it was time for him to show his stuff, he shows his stuff. But the focus is not really on him most of the time. I felt like the focus was mostly on Valerie, the female police officer. The character, Teddy, who is the person who ends up in prison trying to escape people from getting to him, I liked his character. I thought he did a good job doing what he was doing. He kind of gives me a Punisher vibe in a way. And that's mostly because when he's just a guy, he's just a guy. But as the movie evolves and the action starts, yeah, the guy's pretty badass too. So anyway, great casting. I felt like there was good chemistry between all of them, and the third assassin, played by Toby Huss. He's kind of the psychopath killer in this one, and he's kind of the comedic element to kind of ease the tension a little bit. He was fun. I enjoyed his role as well. Plenty of action sequences that complement the story building and the character development. So, yeah, man, I got to tell you, I mean, the movie runs an hour and 48 minutes. And I kind of felt like that's how long I was sitting in the seat. But not to the point where, boy, I can't wait for this movie to end. Just it felt its length, and I really don't think you could have cut too much more out of it. There are other characters in the movie that their presence is kind of needed to build the character. There was the whole premise of going into a prison kind of had that the Terminator vibe to it at one point in time. Again, Bullet is another movie that came to mind with some of the music sequences. But overall, I have to say, pleasantly surprised, because I did not expect much from this film. In fact, I was questioning whether or not I even was going to go and see this movie. And I'm so happy I went to go see this movie, because it was extremely entertaining. I mean, all you have to do is look right over my shoulder here, or look it up for yourself. Copshop, the movie poster has a 70s kind of vibe to it from the type of font and the layout of the poster. So, yeah, I mean, I really I encourage people to go see this one in the theater. It was a lot of fun. And the acting was there. The story was was nothing that's going to overwhelm you. It's pretty much a very simple script and a simple plot, and they're not really trying to pull any tricks on you or anything. It's things that you're going to want, you anticipate are going to happen. They're probably going to happen for you, but it's all in the execution. It's in the execution of the story, the pacing of the story, the quality of the acting, the quality of the sets. In just a recent a review I did of Malignant, some of the scenes just pull you right out because the special effects don't fit. Well, I can tell you, I don't think there are special effects that are any different in this one when we're talking about driving down the highway or looking down the highway. They're not done, but they're done well. They don't pull you out of the movie. The movie is mostly done all in the police station. So, you're not going very far. So I don't think there's any surprises in this film. In the ending, to me, definitely had a 70s feeling to it, or late 60s, early 70s feeling to it, where the story ends a little open-ended. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but when you see the film, you'll understand what I'm saying. It's open-ended. I don't think we know exactly where all the characters end. So anyway, if you're looking for a movie to hit up this weekend, right now I can tell you that Copshop is worth the price of admission. Copshop. Again, starring Gerard Butler, Frank Grillo, Toby Huss, and Alexis Louder. And I would love to know if you feel the same way I do, that Alexis Louder, she stole the show. And I actually can't wait to see her in more leading roles because she just nailed it. And I know that this movie is probably going to be a stepping stone for bigger things for her because she holds her own on the screen very well. Agree with me, don't agree with me, that's okay, because this is just one guy's opinion. Go ahead and leave your comments down below and let me know how you felt about that movie.